Welcome to proposal writing. So proposal writing for small business owners. This is all about writing will land you the sale. And this is critical because really better writing is part of your brand image. Better writing is how people judge you and remember you. And your proposal writing is your way as a small business owner to persuade others to work with you. It could be even as a supplier, it could be as a partner, it could be as a strategic alliance, it could be as a channel partner, or more often than not in fact, it will be as a channel partner or as your customer. So writing can get you business. So what we're going to talk about today is basically the keys to your proposal writing, so your A to Z's as we call them. And really it's getting your customers or getting the people that you're writing the proposal for to read more of your proposal and to actually read your proposal. So that's step one. If they can't read it, they don't know what you're talking about, which means that you definitely can't persuade them. Number two, making sure that you're highlighting the reason why they should be listening to you or the need. So why should your customer care? And then what is a solution? So how are you actually meeting that need, that pain point, that opportunity, that challenge, that issue? How does it actually work? So this is your credibility piece, making sure that when you write this and your solution makes sense and it actually fulfills the need, the opportunity, the pain, the issue, well, can I believe that you are going to be able to do what you say you can do? So how does it actually work? What are the time frames? What are the activities? Who's involved? And then how much does it cost? So what's my return on investment? What's my investment? How much money am I getting back? What's my payback period? These are all different financial metrics that we can have out there, but they're quantifiable. So they're numbers-based reasons to do what we're asking for in the proposal, so to move forward. And then finally, the action. So great, you've read my proposal, you agree with the proposal, now what do we do? The action. So let's just jump into it. And the first thing is getting them to actually read the proposal. And really, the reason that this is so important in general is that often people just read the first one page, half a page, first paragraph, and they decide based on that very first sentence even whether or not to read the rest of your business plan or your proposal. So in general, in your writing, you need to use something that we call a hook. It's basically your first sentence or paragraph that's going to really draw in the reader and get them to read more. So your hook can't be about you. Your hook has to be whatever the person is that you're writing for. In this case, for your proposal writing for your customers, what does your customer care about the most? So if you're selling telecom consulting services, do they care about knowing about the newest technology? Or does your customer care about saving costs? So you really have to understand who your customer is, and the first sentence has to say, this is how we're addressing what you care about. So let's say we're the telecom consulting firm and we know our customers care about the best, newest technology. So our hook could be making sure that you're always ahead of technology, making sure that you're always leading edge and technology is part of your strategic initiatives or competitive edge of your company. These are things that you could say in the beginning. Now, edges or hooks here are actually even more compelling when they have numbers. So let's say we know our target audience or our customer here actually cares about cost savings. And again, we're a telecom consulting firm. So on this one we might say, if you work with us, we will save you a minimum of 20%. And it's risk-free. Something like that. So imagine saving 20% of your IT costs with no risk. Wow. So it has some emotion in there, it has a number in there, and it really speaks to what our customers care about. If you were the customer in this case, would you read the proposal? Well, that's the idea. So the second stage, now that we have them reading the proposal, the next thing is making sure that they actually care about the issue. And so really expanding what the challenge, opportunity, need, issue is that's appealing to your customer. So again, Thinking about the telecom consulting firm, so the IT consulting firms, what does your customer care about? If we care about costs, well, how about we talk about the rising cost of mobile phones or the rising cost of replacing hardware, because all of a sudden people no longer have a smartphone for 3 years. They actually get a new one every 6 to 12 months, let's say. So there's issues or changes in the environment that we can highlight to show that this is a genuine need out there that you should be caring about. So that's one way to do it. Another way for the same telecom consulting firm is, let's say we talk about new innovation. How about the product life cycle now is only 6 months, which means are you ahead of the curve or are you falling behind your competition? Because if your competition upgrades in the last 6 months and you haven't, are you falling behind? We need to have a more robust technological strategy than we've ever had before. So you can really dig into the pain points, dig into the issues, and illustrate that they are in fact urgent. Because your reader, again, maybe they like what your hook had to say, but you know what, we're going to put this on the back burner. Looking at our technology or our IT spend is not top of mind right now. Like I said, put it on the back burner. Maybe in 6 months we'll chat about this again. Well, guess what? In 6 months something else is going to be a priority. So this is the section, you can call it the issue, the problem, the challenge, or even the opportunity. You can title it something like that, but really you have to dig into why should your customer care? So why is this an urgent topic? Once you've proven that, now we jump into what is your solution to solve that problem, issue, challenge, or to address that opportunity. So your solution. What is your solution? The key here is to be as clear, as concise, as succinct as possible. The reason being is we do not want to be confusing at this point. If we are confusing, explaining our solution, and your customer doesn't get it, well, they're not going to buy from you. So do not use industry-specific terminology or wording. Make sure that anyone who looked at this sentence or this paragraph understood it right away. Definitely be grade 8 level or less. So what is your solution? Say it clearly in a sentence, in a paragraph, maybe only 3 sentences max, and there you go. The next part of the solution is then highlight the additional benefits that your customer will see. So not only is your main issue or challenge or opportunity being met with your solution, but you also have zero risk. It's a turnkey solution. You can do it in a limited amount of time. It's easy. It won't take any of your additional time. You're leading edge. It will set you up for a future long-term strategy. Whatever these other benefits are, here's a great opportunity to bullet point them and put them in the order of importance. Whenever we're writing for a customer, we always want to make sure it's easy for them. So number 1 here, keep it very simple. So we have the KISS principle, which is the keep it simple, sweetheart principle. And then the other one, of course, being the pyramid principle, where we want to make sure that the most important bullet points here are at the top. Okay, now that we have outlined the hook, we have whatever the main issue or challenge or opportunity is, we have what our solution is going to be and the benefits behind that. Now we have to prove that we can do what we say we can do. So really this is the how does it work. And in this section, we really want to outline time frames. So what are the time frames for each of the activities? Then we want to dig down deeper into the activities. This is the specific activity that we're going to be taking. This is all the tasks that are underneath of that. And even digging deeper, here is the person who's going to be doing this, or the group who's going to be doing this, or maybe even sometimes your customer is responsible for certain parts of the roles. So outlining it in this methodology, in this way, what it allows us to do is it adds credibility. Now people look at that and they go, oh, that's feasible, that's reasonable, that could work. So having the what you're going to do, when you're going to do it, and who's going to do it, that lends credibility to your solution. It also reduces any planning time. It gets more buy-in. And the nice thing is people can actually see what their role is up front. So you know what? It's going to make the entire machine, if you and when you win the proposal, you can move forward at a very fast rate. One thing that also is important at this point in time is how does it work, is specific goals at each stage. So if we have, let's say for the IT, the first thing that we have to do is we have to get all of your IT bills. So let's say this takes about 3 months to gather, or maybe you just give us access to the bills. That's stage one. At the end of that, you would have a clear view of what your total IT spend is. So that's stage one. So if we're looking at this, we go, okay, stage one, I know who's doing it, I know how long it's going to be, and I know what my end result is going to be of each stage. And this helps your customers see at each stage whether or not something is working or not. And you want to make sure that, of course, your goals of each stage are very reasonable, because that will keep up your momentum. So now that we have our solution in place and how it's going to work, and everyone's going, wow, this could actually happen, now we have to justify the cost. So this is your pricing, and your pricing can have lots of information. It could have different payment terms. It could have, maybe you have a pricing schedule that goes along with this. Maybe you have a standard price with additional options. But however your price works, the key thing is you have to be able to justify it. So pricing is one part, but showing the benefit of the pricing is key. So you may not always be the lowest cost, and we don't always want to be the lowest cost, but we want to be the most value. So now that we've proven we can do what we say we can do, our price, we have to show that this is of value. So write down your pricing, write down whatever the payment plan is, that's great. But now what you want to do is, what's your return on investment? So we have the cost. The cost to your customer is your price. And whenever we want to do a return on investment, we have to know what their benefit is. So great, we have the cost, which is the price for your customer, because we're always thinking from the customer's point of view. But the benefits, what is it? Is it time savings? So are they saving time by doing this? Do you actually save them costs? So maybe you're actually doing cost savings for them. Maybe you're actually increasing their revenue or increasing their overall profit. Or maybe you're making something simpler, or maybe you're making them more competitive so they grow their market share or branding awareness. But whatever the benefit is, we need to turn that into a number. So how much money does that turn into in terms of revenue, profit, or cost savings? And now we compare them. Now we compare, these are your revenue, profit, or cost savings benefits that you have. This is how much it costs you. There should be a huge incremental value between whatever your pricing is that you're offering them, so your customer's cost, to the customer benefit that you have. And when you have that big gap there, you're providing significant value. So the question is, how much does it cost is what they're asking you, so what's your price? But what you need to be showing in your proposal is the value of your pricing. So now that you've shown, great. You have a major challenge that's urgent. We can address it. We know how to address it. This is how we're going to address it. And here's your price cost benefit analysis for you. Great. Now let's move forward. And what you want to do in any proposal is be very, very, very clear about what the next step is. So if you like what you're saying here, let's have a meeting. Have this approved. Let us know when we can move forward. Here's a proposed launch date. This is where we should be meeting for that next time. So whatever the next action, be it an email response, a conference call, a web conference, a face-to-face meeting, a launch party, sending an invoice, whatever that next stage is, in your proposal you should be asking for that next step. Those who do not ask do not receive. So although sometimes it feels odd to have that here, often when you have your customer reading your proposal fully engaged, they have to have a next step. And so as a wrap-up, what we covered is basically we need to get them to read it. If they don't read it, they're not going to be persuaded. Then we have to highlight, why should they care? Why is this so important for them? What's the issue or problem? And highlight that. What is the solution? So how are we going to fix that or capitalize on whatever the opportunity is? How does it work? So that's time frames, specific tasks, who's going to do it, and then a way to make sure that it's actually being successful. So goals throughout the time frame. Then how much does it cost? And making sure that we have a cost benefit here. So what is the cost to your customer? Well, that's the price that you're having. And then what's the benefit? Well, that's the value that you're bringing to them. And then finally, Do not forget the action piece. This is critical. So that is how you do your proposal writing A to Z, and that is how proposal writing can land you sales.